Hello everyone, GoldenHawk here, creator of Ancient Powers, the Cemetery, and Archpriestess of the House of Life. We have an eclipse going on right now. It's a partial. It's in the Pacific Northwest, it's right now anyway. I put some information from a pretty good astrologer, and they're a little difficult to find. Really good information on this eclipse, except she failed to mention that this is an eclipse that has been awaited since the 1962 alignment and eclipse in Aquarius that brought in a great many souls for rebirth who were going to be moving a great deal of the world through the cusp of the age of Aquarius, the first half of the cusp. And she did mention the Magi piece, which I was really, really happy to hear. I was born remembering. I didn't start recently. I didn't wake up a few years ago or even a couple decades ago. I have been living this path in this alignment with my personality for my entire life. I have an 8th house Chiron, which is pretty difficult, and any of you out there who do, you should PM me, because you've had a hard life, and you're a returned master, and there was a reason that you were taught. You were brought in and taught what abuse of power was. And that's so you would not abuse your own power. Because at this point, that's what most of the 8th house Chirons are dealing with. And some people took a great deal of healing to move through this, and others, like me, went, no, and continue to hold their knowledge from their birth cycle. And there's a reset going on right now, in aligned with Cancer and Cap, and the North and South nodes are in Cancer and Capricorn right now too. And they are not just signs, they are tropics. And the tropics are very different than the rest of the signs. They bring in a great deal more energy. They're the doorways. They're gateways in and out. The photon belt points are Aquarius and Leo. The gateway for the beginning and the building through all of the cycles of the earth have been Cancer and Capricorn, which is another reason why the very center of Pangaea, Egypt, actually probably real close to Abydos, was the umbilicus for our world. And this reset button is going to be taking a lot of people into where they are at emotionally with what they are building, what they came in, stepped in to do, to build this time around. And it's real important because over the next couple of weeks, you're going to want to start old, new projects. You might be going back to some things that you have tried before and hadn't worked, or that you weren't able to stick to. You'll find a new way of doing it. It's going to be real important. And as you know, I never deal with warrior energy. That is usually part of the cycle. I embodied that. I walked it. I'm done. Because as soon as you are engaged as a warrior, your energy is in warrior energy. You've got the other side tugging energy, pulling energy off of you, streaming energy off of you. I have been actually teaching for 27 years. And I have been working with the embodiment of the Netiru, or the Netters, of Kemet throughout this. I will be beginning those teachings tonight and bringing them in video. I am going to be having a couple of different types of classes than what I've got up right now. I've got up a couple of my big classes, and I've got up my mentorship program and some big astrological pieces for people who are pretty advanced. But I am going to be starting a subscription series very, very shortly, and I'm doing the initial recordings for the Netter Neteru tonight. I am extremely excited. When I was given the information from my channel that I was going to be doing this on the 6th of January, I hadn't looked at the lunar calendar yet, and it's an eclipse. And it's completely aligned with everything. I have already done the channelings for the Neteru and for the 64 codons for the DNA in our spine. And they're really super simple. And actually, they're really releasing. I am seeing so much stuff done by so many people that is just aligned with get out of the matrix, and they're inside the matrix. And they don't even know it. And I go in and watch and look at the teachings and see the connections, and I'm like, oh my God, really? It does expand. It does expand things. And it does do some release work, but they're not working with real new energy coming in through the actual real dimensional portals, because they aren't connected to the Taurus. They aren't connected through a Taurus. And it's a completely different ballgame at that time. There are some people out there that are connected, and there are several different ways to tell. But I actually tonight wanted to share a little bit of, well, I guess my experiences and the things that I've learned. Some of the different things. I have done NLP. I have done kinesiology. I have done EFT. I still work with a lot of sound therapy. It is one of the things that actually does work. It's very, very strong and powerful inside of all of the levels in the body. And it actually goes into the water memory field, which is exactly where we need to go to be working with the energy. So I have found tuning forks, the crystal bowls, and the 7 metal bowls from Nepal, the bowls, as well as, especially, actually, I really like my the 7 metal that do 7 of the chakras, and we have a lot more actually, and do them at 4 octaves. And so it's very, very powerful. But I started with astrology. I started in astrology when I was 12. I started working with crystals and stones when I was 4. None of this is new to me. This has been my life's journey. Aromatherapy, dealing with the ancestral trees, the tree of life work, and I'm talking both types of tree of life. I was doing shamanic stuff at the age of like 4. So none of it's new. I remembered it. And my teachers, a great deal of my teachers, were the netters, the nitiru. I worked with the Hote as Thoth first, and then in the true form, I worked with Isis, and then Ausiat, and then greater into her particular frequencies. And I worked with Nephthys, Nephthith, the great dark mother. And I, during these journeys, worked with embodying them and stripping the myth, and then finding where they lived in other mythologies and the pure energy. And it's been really, really intense. I've done dimensional work with Barbara Handclough. She was fabulous. I worked with some other teachers that were great for the level that I was at when I was learning the archetypes. And then I went, really? We got to strip the archetypes. The hero's journey is very damaging. And it's time to get on a new track. It's time to get on the track of creation, and it's time to get on the track of freedom. I came on here today with almost no notice whatsoever, and I did this on purpose because I just kind of wanted to blab for a few minutes. And I know that some of you will see this later on and watch it. Some of you, well, I might see you later. And that's fine. But I just really wanted to bring out some information on this during this eclipse. I have had a path my entire life. I was born knowing what I was without a name for it, not being able to find the path to it because I was a mythical creature. I'm an archpriestess. A priestess itself didn't exist too many places on the earth anymore when I was born. And here in America, well, it was mythic. And I just was getting information from basically birth. I actually have some prenatal memory. And with this, and with having to walk the path of someone who has an 8th house Chiron, I knew that I had to find a way to reprogram the subconscious mind. And like I said, I went through NLP, kinesiology, I went through affirmations. I've spoken a lot about that this week, and I've got a big Cemetery course up right now, a 21-day course, which makes the Taurus field available for people who aren't ready to really restructure. And because my big Ancient Powers 1 class, the Pharaoh's class, is for people who are really ready to structure and step up to power and to do this without blowing out glandular systems, thyroid, adrenals. I've seen so much. Or popping themselves open and activating something in the DNA that ends up giving them cancer, or whatever old family diseases happen to be in the part of the DNA that's brought in incorrectly, or, like I said, activated. It pops it open and can make a person ill really fast. I've seen mystery skulls that have done this with people and doing DNA work, and I've gone in and had to restructure people after the illness and work healing energy. And healing itself is actually in the process of ascension moving into the place of awareness within the different shands or the different realities that your central power is looped into. uh, Healing is not that high of a level of a modality. Once a person moves into manifesting, just straight manifesting wellness, joy, prosperity, going back and doing healing work actually brings one into direct contact with a lot of lower frequencies. And I do this work still. I do a lot of it. I work with power of the word more than anything else, which is given by Tejote, but I do work with the sound and with the stones in order to do this. I am not doing a lot of laying on of hands. I'm not doing a lot of the lower stuff like Reiki. You know, I've got 2 different lineages as a Reiki master, and it's just such a lower energy, and it's difficult to move into and go, okay, I'm gonna start doing this now and focusing where all of this illness and, well, dissonance is actually manifesting. And I've just moved beyond it. My piece is to hand it to whoever's ready to move out of that dissonance themselves. And I'm going to actually be coming in a little more often, and I'm going to be telling some stories. And I'm going to be talking about what this actually is. I have been extremely serious because I have been in the roll-up to this eclipse. And I've been very dedicated in this for a very, very long time. But now it's time to get some interaction. I want to tell you, everyone, that I do have Sandy Laratonda coming in this week from Pennsylvania. And we're going to do some really fun lives. And I'm going to be bringing in some other guests to speak. I'm also going to be putting up some testimonies so that you guys can connect up to this. And I am going to be, as I said, doing the subscription pieces. I'm wanting to start a piece where I will be giving you guys energies for the week, and the lunar and solar play that's going to be happening. And when I say solar play, I'm talking about solar flares and mega flares and what's coming through the Earth nodes, and the soup that we're going to be in as we go in to face the basic consciousness of this planet every day in our lives, because it's really hard to hold, you know, that sweet symphonic tone that we get to where we're just feeling so good and everything's going so well, and we walk into work or out at a store and we're just hit by a barrage of energy. And even with good shielding and the old shielding that we have, the mirror shielding, the bubble shielding, the cloaking shielding, it's all old stuff, and it just bounces negativity all around us. And you know, physics, you know, you get hit and it bounces off, and it's 10 times worse, and it hits somewhere else and it's 10 times worse, and we're going 10, 100, 1,000, 10,000, and it's just awful. So I want to go through this and give this out on a weekly basis, and I want to introduce the netters. I want to bring these guidances in. I want you all to know that you can really start working with your own DNA, through your own resonance, through the ancient keys. And I'm making it simple. I'm making it easy, and it's going to be a subscription piece. And it's not going to be thousands of dollars or anything like that. It's just going to be just simple, easy. It's going to be fun. And I want to build community here. That's what I'm out here to do. I'm out here to build community. I want to get some of you guys to come on here and talk to me. And I'm hoping I'm going to be able to bring Anthony on for sure, and out of the group, and Kat. But I got a lot of people that have worked with me for a decade, for 2 decades. I've got people out there and people coming in that I've worked with for so long. Hi, Gina. And see, I got busted. I got somebody watching and they're talking to me. Send me hearts. But I've got a lot of people that have talked to me that I've worked with for years, and my lovely team, my tech people, and I got more than just JoJo now, so they've figured out a way for me to do 2 screens at once and split screens, and we're getting that in. And my nephew is going to be doing some things, and this is all happening. This is the structure. I'm bringing in this structure this month. I'm bringing it in. I'm starting it on the Eclipse. And it's kind of a redo, but not. But I'm going to do it right. I had been given really bad information on how to do this, and really bad information how to present myself. And I really want to present you as I am. And believe me, I mean, I'm kind of holding back all the time because I don't know if you've got kids in the room, but my mouth sometimes has some inappropriate things fly out of it. And I just always tell people, well, you know, that's just the mark of genius. Because genius people, you know, when there isn't a word yet out there that fits what they need, they use the F word all the time. So these are studies. These are studies. I'm going to be starting to put up a lot of scientific studies too, that I'm just going to put out there free for you guys that are in my regular Facebook group, and you'll be able to see some of the pieces that I've pulled in research and doing the stuff that I've done. And more and more will be available as I learn how to do this, and my pharaohs can be ready. That this stuff's going to start actually showing up, because I just didn't know how to download it and put it in the right place. And that's what happens when you pay someone and don't check out who they really are. So you can check me out at House of Life. And you can ask other people in here, and you can ask people in my regular face group, because I got a lot of people, like I said, that I've worked with. I have been around for a long time. And I'd say I love you all. I love you, Gina. I just have Gina. But I know more of you will be watching. And it's time to really pump the energy up. It's really, really time to do that. And it's really time to let you guys know who I really am. And I'm going to probably be falling into channel and stop trying to control it all the time, because this is time for exposure. And I'm ready to expose myself. Are you guys ready to expose yourself? It's not the easiest thing to do, because we've been shushed and suppressed for so long. And I didn't do it because I was worried about what anybody would think of me. I was doing it because I was getting some really bad information from a really awful source. So, oh, I love you too. Sometimes I'm called in to work with people, and I'm called in to work with people because, as I said, I'm an 8th house Chiron, and I come in and learn about abuse of power. And I'm pretty good about not abusing mine. Actually, I'm quite excellent at it at this point. But I'm almost 60 years old, people. And by this time, I better have learned it. My second Saturn's coming. How are you doing with your Saturns? I'm gonna talk about a lot more things, and I've been waiting for some more emails from you all in my GoldenHawk at House of Life. So .com, goldenhousehouseoflife.com. GoldenHawk at houseoflife.com. There we go. To let me know more about what you wanted to hear about, and there were several people that wanted to hear more about my life and what I've done, and So I guess you guys are going to hear about ghost busting and demonic removals, clearing. I've done a lot. I've done a lot. I've felt that is one piece that I've been feeling a little strange about exposing, but I'm going to. I've worked with several native tribes, and are you ready? Are you ready for the change? Gina, are you ready for the reset? This thing takes forever. That is the one thing about using my iPad. But I'm going to give you guys some really great tips for navigating this year. And that little 10-minute piece from that astrologer, you need that information, and I would make notes about what she said, what's going to happen in July, too. All of those pieces are opening up. We are on a new lunar. We're on a new lunar set. Okay. I finally got Gina's doing good, and she's ready for the reset. So, let's start stripping stuff down and make sure that you are building what you want to build and in your life, and looking at your relationships first from your relationship with yourself, because you're number one, most important. You're the only person you can make any change for. I mean, I know that it's real important for parents to be lined up and to be teaching their children correctly, but, you know, anciently we did have a guidebook. Anciently we had the temples. Anciently we had as above, so below. We knew what that meant, and we followed the stars. We don't do that anymore. Hopefully we will again. And I am absolutely in love today. I am going to be doing the channel for the Great Mother Nait, the Grand Sycamore, the darkness before the first dawn, the mother of all the weavings, of the possibilities, of dreams, that turning point in the dimensions, and the rest of the triad, or the Grand Trinity. This is what makes Phi, what makes Pi. There's a reason why there's a polarity, male and female, darkness and light, the child, the third piece, the spin, the great helix, with the netters, and always has been, and I'm going to be opening up the temple door. Love and light, Nefer Ka, and I'll be seeing you. Check out the cemetery. Really grab the free booklet, the free guide for the crystals. It's got stuff in it that was taught to me by my grandmother, and they were passed on as family secrets. And check out the cemetery. It is a great course, and I'm going to be putting out some more testimonies, but we're going to be moving, like I said, into the subscription piece, and I'm just going to make this real easy, and like I said, more fun. Ciao.